The hardest thing about losing my spouse was that because he passed away from suicide, was explaining suicide to all those that love him and knew him and didn't know that this could happen to him. And so to avoid stigma of suicide, I felt fiercely defensive of him to explain to everyone and comfort those around me, so that they wouldn't think he was being selfish or had given up on his life.
The hardest thing about losing my spouse has been the day-to-day change. How anything can happen at any given moment. There can be a song on the radio, or my daughters will say something. We have 3 girls, and they'll bring him up in a way and ask about him. For me, that's been the hardest thing, is knowing that they will grow up without their dad.
Any hard things about losing my spouse is the early morning and late evening conversations we'd have. I think that connection with somebody who's kind of a witness to my life and I'm a witness to his life, and our common goals and interests and concerns and worries, we could talk about it with each other, and we could share our joys and our sorrows, and just not having that daily someone to just connect with. His phone calls every day, just checking on me, or every night, just good night and a kiss and roll over kind of thing. Just simple knowing that they're there and that you've made a connection. Without that, it feels very cold and lonely and difficult and scary.
Planned a life together, and when you lose a spouse, you don't just lose that person that you thought you'd be with for a long time, but you lose your plans, your dreams, your hopes. You also lose that support to raise children. So probably the hardest thing is just honestly having to take the slate that you had in your mind for your life and just wipe it clean. That is extremely hard.
The hardest thing about losing Marcus was losing myself. We got married when we were 20, and we met when we were 18, and so we developed personalities that were very much intertwined with each other, and him being gone really took me with him, and that's been really hard to deal with.